This is for you, Elk. As promised, I will now be reading an excerpt from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Loving Our Cats. Heartwarming and humorous stories about our feline family members. Today's story, Miss Feather's Lesson. It includes a quote by Mark Twain. Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. After school one day, I saw some boys poking a stick into a thorn bush and laughing. My worst fears were realized when I heard a faint meow from inside the bush. I ran over and grabbed the stick away from them and peered into the bush. There, I saw the most pitiful kitten I'd ever seen. Her color was questionable because of the dirt and blood matted into her coat. The thorns of the bush were pushing into her little body, and she was crying with pain. I had to get her out of there. Crawling carefully into the bush, I freed her from the entangling thorn branches. My arms got totally covered in scratches, not just from the thorns, but from her claws as well, as the frightened kitten tried to hold on to me. When I got home, I called out, "Mom, see what followed me home!" My mother was used to me bringing home stray animals. This kitten would be no different. She would have a home if she wanted to stay with us. After carefully removing thorns, cleaning wounds, and bathing this poor creature, I found that it had a beautiful, snow-white, long-haired kitten with sky-blue eyes. Because of her silky coat, I called her Miss Feather. The following week, a new family moved into our neighborhood. They had a daughter named Judy Ann. Judy Ann talked funny. Funny to the kids in our neighborhood, anyway. And they laughed at her. I felt sorry for Judy. I protected her from the kids who were mean to her, and we became friends. Judy Ann adored Miss Feather as much as I did, and helped me to take care of her. One morning at breakfast, Mother said, "Molly, why don't you get Miss Feather to Judy Ann? She has no cats of her own, and you have so many." "But, Mom, I found Miss Feather." "You just think about it." That night, I lay in bed, and I thought, and thought, and thought. I decided that it would be a good idea to give Miss Feather to Judy Ann. She lived 2 doors down, and I could still play with Miss Feather whenever I wanted. Once I had made my decision, I couldn't wait for morning to come, so I could tell Judy Ann about it. Judy Ann was thrilled to tears. We hugged and hugged as I passed the purring kitten to her. Most pure white kittens with blue eyes are deaf, and Miss Feather was no exception. Because little Miss Feather couldn't hear, she required constant and faithful care. Judy Ann was the perfect mistress for her. No one would ever understand Miss Feather's needs as completely as Judy Ann. Do you know why? Because Judy Ann was also deaf. This story was sent in by Molly Lemons for the Chicken Soup for the Kids Sold too. Thank you. Do you like the calendar? Yeah. Okay.